One Zambia, One Nation. Welcome to Zanis News. My name is Alice Banda with my sign language interpreter, Imelda Mlea. Let's take a look at the stories making headlines. Tazara poised for revitalization. $100 million Zambia expansion project delivers positive results. Eastern Province projects boast in maize production. Plus, cooperatives urged to capitalize on empowerment programs. The news in detail. Tanzania-Zambia Railway Authority, Tazara Managing Director Bruno Chingando says the company is set for a major upgrade with expected investment from a Chinese concessionaire. He said this when Minister of Information and Media Director spokesperson Henry Kapata visited the firm. More in the following report.
Tazara has the capacity to transport 5 million metric tons of cargo, serving as an important link for Zambia to the port of Dar es Salaam in Tanzania. But after nearly 50 years of operation, the rail line is in need of rehabilitation. Minister of Information and Media Director spokesperson Henry Kapata has visited Tazara in Dar es Salaam, where the Managing Director Bruno Chingando has informed him about the upcoming partnership with a Chinese concessionaire to operate the railway.
We put up a revitalization plan, which was about $558 million. And according to that plan, we will be breaking even in the first 2.5 years. The board approved the revitalization plan, but the council decided that instead of revitalizing, maybe we start seeking for funds from somewhere else. And the two governments, the two presidents, in fact, drove the agenda of concessioning.
The $1 billion investment is part of a shared vision by President Hakainde Hichilema and Tanzania Samia Suluhu Hassan to see Tazara achieve its full potential, contributing to economic growth, strengthening trade routes, and promoting economic ties. Late last year, President Hichilema expressed desire for the prompt restoration of the Tazara corridor, facilitating efficient transportation of goods and petroleum products. The upgrade of Tazara is expected to have a huge impact on regional trade and investment. Moses Mbeo Jr., Dar es Salaam, Tanzania.
Minister of Green Economy and Environment Mike Mposha says the European Union's contribution to Zambia's national development in addressing global challenges cannot be overstated. Mr. Mposha was speaking when a delegation from the EU paid a courtesy call on him at his office in Lusaka. And EU Ambassador to Zambia, Carolina Stasiak, praised the Zambian government for establishing the Ministry of Green Economy and Environment, which he said is vital in addressing the adverse effects of climate change.
The European Union's contribution to Zambia's national development cannot be overemphasized. Notable, Your Excellency, is the premium the European Union puts on addressing global challenges as embodied in the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development Programs. Your Excellency, the Forest Partnership between Zambia and the European Union is a collaborative effort rooted in this shared commitment to addressing global challenges. It is aligned with the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, with a focus on Sustainable Development Goal number 13, dubbed Climate Action, and SDG number 15, dubbed Life on Land. Your Excellency, this partnership seeks to promote terrestrial ecosystem, manage forests sustainably, combat desertification, and mitigate climate change.
We appreciate very much that this ministry was created in 2021. This really shows the commitment of the government to climate action, and also it shows the realization that climate and environment and natural resources are not just one sector, but it's really something that is cross-cutting across all sectors of the economy, that we need to streamline this action across the board. Your ministry is one of the key interlocutors for our EU delegation. As you know, the EU is a global leader on environment and on climate action. The climate action is underpinning everything that we do also globally. As you alluded to, Zambia is currently, and not only Zambia, but the whole Southern African region is currently experiencing a serious drought as a consequence of climate change. And this drought, we see consequences on many different sectors of life in Zambia, not only on food security, on energy provision, but also on the, let's say, economic performance as well.
In agriculture news, Zambian Products Management says its expansion project in Chisamba and in Pongwe districts, valued at over 100 million United States dollars, is yielding positive results. Zambian Kalundu Dairy Veterinary Manager Pakle Malambo says the initiative is aimed at strengthening the agri-food system in a changing climate condition. Dr. Malambo says the company will continue to collaborate with government in spurring economic growth in the country by investing in the agriculture sector. More in this report.
As government strives to eradicate food insecurity resulting from harsh effects of climate change, cooperating partners such as Zambia are crucial in strengthening the agri-food system. Zambia recently invested over 100 million United States dollars to expand its products, among them poultry and dairy. The agribusiness contributes 1% to Zambia's gross domestic product, hence its expansion is expected to boost economic growth in the country amid the climate crisis.
This drought situation actually also has given us an opportunity for the future. So we've identified that we need to invest more in our breeding program on the farm. So what we're actually doing now is that part of our genetic plan is to ensure that the next generation of cows that we're having, they are better than the previous parent stock.
The company wants to partner with small-scale farmers.
We can utilize almost 24,000 liters of milk a day. So it means then that we need more milk from our small-scale farmers, from our growers. So it means that would encourage that we have more suppliers.
Zambia is finding ways of reducing environmental degradation in the production process.
We've completely moved away from charcoal, and now we are using coal heaters. So we are very proud to have made that decision because we are no longer involved in the deforestation.
Linda Mupemo, Zanis, in Chisamba.
Eastern Province Permanent Secretary Paul Tole has revealed that the province is positioning itself to increase maize production to 4 million metric tons of maize towards the national target of producing 10 million metric tons by 2027. Mr. Tole was speaking when the Presidential Delivery Unit, PDU, team on efficient value chain paid a courtesy call on him in Chipata. More in this report.
As government targets to produce 10 million metric tons of maize by 2027, Eastern Province is positioning itself to contribute about 4 million metric tons towards this goal. The Presidential Delivery Unit is actively supporting the Ministry of Agriculture to ensure the target is met. Jones Shibela, who is Delivery Manager for Efficient Value Chain at the PDU, is in Eastern Province and has visited the Zambia Agriculture Research Institute, ZARI, Musekera Research in Chipata District. The visit follows the conclusion of a comprehensive soil mapping, which will provide detailed analysis of the province soil profile, critical for optimizing maize production.
The fact that we are here today discussing and inspecting these institutions, as it were, is premised on the fact that Eastern Province has been mapped. So this gives us a step further for us now to be able to analyze the reports that have been issued and be able to determine the type of fertilizer that is required in our various districts in Eastern Province.
He has also outlined key interventions aimed at achieving the 10 million metric tons of maize.
Indeed, you should be able to appreciate that achieving the 10 million target is not necessarily anchored just on soil mapping, as it were, but there is other activities that are priority as well, which include things like dam mapping, which includes unlocking access to finance and the market, as it were, improving and coming up with a dynamic extension service, being able to run a robust irrigation mechanism in this country, which is of course anchored on precision farming, which is mechanization.
Earlier, the PDU team paid a courtesy call on Eastern Province Permanent Secretary Paul Tole, reiterating their commitment to working closely with the province to meet the production targets.
It has come at such a time that Zarela is up and running. As you say, that completed mapping the soils of Eastern Province. That is great. Eastern Province is a powerhouse in terms of maize belt, and I'm sure it will be gratifying to hear that as a province you are going to give us 4 million tons out of here, then we can go home and relax.
Reporting for Zanis in Chipata District, I'm Lubasi Mtafela.
And Minister of Technology and Science Permanent Secretary Brilliant Habenzo says technical education, vocational and entrepreneurship training TVET remains at the center of agriculture transformation. Dr. Habenzo says TVET is key to unlocking the full potential of the agriculture sector and ensuring its competitiveness in the global market. The Permanent Secretary said this when he virtually opened a Skill for Trade and Economic Diversification Policy Foresight workshop. Details in the following report.
The need to come up with skills that respond to economic demands is centered on technical education, vocational and entrepreneurship training, TVET. TVET is also key to unlocking the full potential of the agriculture sector and ensuring its competitiveness in the global market. It is for this reason that the government, through the Ministry of Science and Technology and the International Labour Organization, has embarked on the Skills for Trade and Economic Diversification Policy Workshop for the agriculture sector.
So when we are looking at a skill, we are looking at a skill that is going to enhance fisheries, that is going to enhance livestock, that is going to also enhance crop production. So at the end of the day, we ask ourselves, using the mandate that cover the need for technology and science, what we are able to do in order for us to get in optimal production, in order for us really economic transformation obligation, so that we are able to penetrate in the European market in terms of our exports.
Todini Marecha is ILO Chief Technical Advisor.
This project is focusing on 4 main sectors which are outlined in the National Development Agenda for Zambia, which include agriculture, mining, tourism and energy. And today we are gathered here to focus on agriculture, and we are employing an ILO approved approach, which is called Skills for Trade and Economic Diversification program, which short name it STEP. And this, the main focus for this process is to bring together the key players in the agricultural sector to look at how they can eventually come up with a sector skills strategy or skills which are focused in the agricultural sector.
We need to analyze skills needs, demand. We need to analyze skills supply. And then we need to analyze skills gaps. After identifying that gap, we can come up with recommendations.
The Zambia Federation of Employers share their take on skills training.
Therefore, the quality of the National Agriculture Plan or strategy must be supported with relevant skills which are needed to translate skills to National Agricultural Plan into an on-the-ground impact. Guests of honor, ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude my speech by indicating that when farmers have more money in their pockets, they spend more in their local economy, creating job opportunities and more demand agriculture goods. Therefore, the question that needs to be answered is how to accelerate, sustain, and scale these growth cycles, and one of the solutions lies in developing relevant skills for the sector.
Other stakeholders weighed in on the importance of the program.
Well, we are glad that ILO actually has brought about this workshop where skills training are being discussed, and especially the importance of the skills strategy in the Ministry of Agriculture, because agriculture is about skills. We need to know how to plant, for example, as those are production skills. We also need business skills in agriculture so that we know how to negotiate for prices. You are aware that in this country, farmers actually produce, then they start looking for a market, which is very wrong. So, but if they understand marketing skills, they understand business skills, if the farmers understand production skills, then we are moving towards being competitive.
And when you look at the agricultural sector, the 5% in the informal and also in the informal agriculture, activities, and you see that a larger percentage of, we have less percentage in terms of 2.7 or 2.8, contribution to GDP, meaning we have a lot of challenges that we are facing as the sector, despite having a very good environment.
Kelvin Tembo for Zanis in Kabwe, Central Province.
Now, government has disclosed that 123 constituencies will benefit from the Cash for Work program that is meant to provide temporary financial relief in 83 disaster-hit districts. Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Permanent Secretary in charge of Technical Services, Nicholas Piri, has announced that so far 68.5 million kwacha has been released for the project. Speaking during a press briefing this morning, Mr. Piri indicated that authorized officers will identify beneficiaries in order to prevent people from benefiting from more than one social protection intervention. Mr. Piri added that citizens will be engaged to carry out public work for 10 days in their public localities and be paid in 2 installments on the 15th and 30th of every month of work. He urged the beneficiaries to match their SIM cards' names as their national registration card in order to avoid complications in the disbursement of funds that will be entirely undertaken through mobile money.
The major objective of this Cash for Work is to provide temporal financial relief to the households in the disaster areas, disaster districts. And the way we have designed this program is in such a way that citizens are going to be engaged in their respective localities to carry out public works for 10 days in a month. And we are going to pay 60 kwacha per person per day, which will be accumulated and paid every 15th of the month and every 30th of the month, as it may be. And in that regard, we are going to be paying 600 kwacha per person per month. Government has also approved the urban upgrading program. And obviously, Lusaka, being the nerve center of the country, and also being the one with the largest area that is unplanned or having unplanned settlement, it makes economic, social sense that we start with Lusaka. Remember that almost every time, whenever there's an outbreak of communicable diseases, specifically cholera, Lusaka is the epicenter. If it's not the epicenter, it will become the biggest exporter of that disease. And so it makes sense that we start with Lusaka. And starting with Lusaka, I now turn my attention to Kanyama, because this is where we are going to be focusing a lot of our attention. In Kanyama, we have strategic interventions that we intend to start with. But before I go to the interventions, maybe let me also say that the upgrading program, urban upgrading program, is quite a huge undertaking. And our initial budget is somewhere to the tune of 300 million.
We take a break. Stay tuned for more stories.
Woman Thou Art is a program that offers counsel to the female folk, sharing real-life experiences and providing guidance to the women and young girls on necessary steps and conducts that will help shape and nurture a sober society. Watch Woman Thou Art on Zanis TV every Wednesday at 18:30 hours on the Topster channel, channel 6 DTT, and channel 458 DTH.
Welcome back. Now, Chavuma District Commissioner Geoffrey Kasonda has thanked President Hakainde Hichilema for sending relief maize to the district. More details in this report.
A comprehensive distribution plan has been set into motion. A total of 3,840 50-kilogram bags of white maize will be disbursed across the 15 wards of Chavuma constituency. Notably, 80% of this allocation will be allocated as Food for Work, a community-driven initiative aimed at empowering local residents while addressing pressing needs. The remaining 20% of relief maize is earmarked for vulnerable groups, among them the elderly, widows, orphans, female-headed households.
The district is also one of the districts that has been affected with the drought, and we want to appreciate the new Doni government for sending us some relief food. As Chavuma district, we have received 192 metric tons of white maize, which is translated to 3,840 bags of white maize, which we are going to distribute.
The Ministry of Education expresses gratitude for the government's timely intervention.
The school-going children will benefit in one way or the other by them getting some energy from the food that their parents will receive. In the end, they will also continue going to school, and school programs will not be disturbed in any way. So we wish to thank the government and the leadership of the president himself for this very supportive program.
Meanwhile, the district agriculture coordinator highlights the profound impact on household food security.
This food will go to alleviate the hunger situation that is there in Chavuma. By so doing, we have farmers that are already doing the wetland cropping. So those need to be supported in terms of food so that they can be...
Josephine Banda reporting for Zanis, Chavuma District in Northwestern Province.
Government has encouraged cooperatives in Pulungu District of Northern Province to take advantage of the empowerment programs being offered. District Commissioner Gerhard Sikazwe says government is supporting people and businesses with loans through the Constituency Development Fund and the Citizens Economic Empowerment Commission, among other programs. Christian Muselu reports that Mr. Sikazwe said this in a speech read on his behalf by Mpulungu District Administrative Officer George Chibuye during the capacity building program for the cooperatives.
The Cooperative College has been holding outreach trainings for cooperators across the country. The college was in Mpulungu to train the cooperatives. Mpulungu District Administrative Officer George Chibuye represented Mpulungu District Commissioner Gihad Sikazwe at the training.
Tuirawekera kunu ubuteko wachino cyano wayiminina pakukampusha imikalire yesu ukutira iye pandashi balela ndo ukutira ichandashi tatula mpelo olupia namba 1 tukwire twamipela abano ukutulanga bwino ukutukampusha munshira ishingisha ukutira amakwebo tuingaya twala pandashi.
The college principal is happy with the response.
We had successful trainings in Sengahi, in Mbala, and today also we've had overwhelming response here in Mpulungu. So we are very happy that the cooperators are seeing the need for our capacity building program, which basically covers themes in cooperative governance and entrepreneurship.
And participants had this to say.
Cooperative college bamasambiriro batufunda momu achiva isha entrepreneurship, mindset change na climate change kaidi balunda pona ambi amasambiriro ndine subiro atemu andi na maka yakutila nangu isubiro yakutila kwena cooperative ayengi kuno kuncendesu yala chinga nangu yala pantanshi kutira muri ayene masambiriro.
Christine Msedu reporting for Zanis in Mpulungu.
In health news, government is constructing a maternity annex in Maimbi area of Chama North constituency at a cost of 450,000 kwacha. Area Member of Parliament Yotam Tachalo, who inspected the progress of the works, says the facility is expected to improve healthcare services to expectant mothers in the area. Take a look at this report.
A new chapter is unfolding in the history of the community's health care. The construction of a maternity annex is a beacon of hope for expectant mothers and their families. A Chama North Member of Parliament who inspected the facility said the infrastructure will resolve challenges expectant mothers were being subjected to.
The facility was funded by CDF for Chama North. And so far, I think so good. I'm happy with the quality of works. I'm happy that at least we are moving somewhere. The people of Maimbi were subjected to a lot of challenges to access health service delivery for more than 15 kilometers to Chivali. Especially in the night, you know, for expectant mothers, it was a huge challenge. And once this facility is opened, I think it will resolve some of these challenges our people have been subjected to, expectant mothers. And my plea I want to make to the community also is that this is their property. Let's ensure that we look after it very well, because government is spending quite a lot of money to put up infrastructure under CDF. So therefore, the local people must be able to look after the property. We don't want the property to be vandalized. Further, I'm happy that we have a borehole here. We have drilled a borehole because we can't, without a borehole, it was going to be very difficult for this facility to actually to operate.
Chama Town Council Director of Engineering has called on the contractor to work on the concern being raised.
The Maimbi, where there's the construction of Maimbi Health Post, I think the health post has really progressed. I think I can rate it at 85% complete. I think the contractor is here and they are just currently winding up on the ceiling board. However, we have just noticed some concerns where some points of the ceiling body, there was some deformations, as well as some deformations on the roof. So just issued the site instruction to work on those defects. Otherwise, overall, the progress on the project is impressive, and it is due to complete by mid-September. We've also drilled a borehole at the facility that will be supplying water to the facility as well as the surrounding communities.
The site manager has confirmed that the works are slated for completion by the end of September.
Tiwubika ceiling board, then chiri ku Malaysia na float ndamale. Tichiri tuomba by this month chitamala.
Harriet Shilufia, reporting for Zanis in Chama district of Eastern Province.
In other news, Gender Division Permanent Secretary Mainga Kabika has challenged beneficiaries of the Girls' Education, Women's Empowerment and Livelihoods Jewel project not to misuse the empowerment, but to put them to good use. Ms. Kabika has noted that the Jewel Empowerment Program can transform communities if well utilized. The Permanent Secretary was speaking when she addressed beneficiaries in Mungwi and Porokoso District of Northern Province. Pethias Mtale has the details.
This is Gender Division Permanent Secretary Mainga Kabika monitoring the performance of the Girls' Education, Women's Empowerment and Livelihoods Jewel project in Mungwi District. What she found here is a success story, as visibly jovial beneficiaries told the Permanent Secretary that they have bid farewell to poverty. In Mporokoso district, the story was the same. Success stories. The Permanent Secretary commended the beneficiaries and challenged other recipients of the Jewel project to expand their businesses.
Those clubs, so that because those are the clubs that support the economy. That's why even us as civil servants, we are willing to link to Kuma market, so that's now Mkwata market. Eventually, you can even export to DRC. You are not far from DRC here. You can export to Tanzania, just even local, even other countries like South Africa, Kenya. So you should think big.
Pethias Mutali for Zanis News in Mungwi, Northern Province.
Minister of Justice Princess Kasune says government will endeavor to establish a constitution that promotes the proportional representation of Zambians. Ms. Kasune says her ministry is committed to ensuring that the rule of law is upheld to allow all Zambians enjoy their human rights. She said this when a delegation from the Zambia Center for Inter-Party Dialogue, ZCID, paid a courtesy call on her today, and ZCID chairperson Joyce Msenge disclosed that the organization looks forward to the ministry's guidance, support, and partnership in providing the constitutional roadmap.
Through this government, I think one of the things that the president has been categorical about, he will not endeavor in a constitutional reform without all the stakeholders speaking to it, because it is only a disaster awaiting. And so we, as the UPND New Dawn government, through the party president, who happens to be also the Republican president, we will not endeavor in or dive in a constitutional reform that does not have all the input from the key stakeholders, which are represented through the ZCID and indeed many others that may not even sit at this table. So we are happy to hear that you are cognizant of that as well, and that you would even rather be the one that spearheads that, so that those voices are heard, and then it is brought to us as Minister of Justice, and hopefully to also indeed the executive and the cabinet, because we want a constitutional review, not only roadmap, but a constitutional review that will stand the test of time, which every Zambian can sit proud of. I mean,
so we started the year with having a meeting with the Republican president. We were honored. He met us in March this year, and we went to present our issues with him. So we are looking forward to having future many interactions, because as you know, Honorable Minister, ZCID is a grant-aided institution under the Ministry of Justice. We also want to emphasize from the onset that it is important for us to collaborate with the Ministry of Justice to ensure the roadmap's success, because without the roadmap, stakeholders have been calling for the roadmap. These are our members, both outside Parliament and within the board. We
take a break. Stay tuned for business news.
The Issue is a program that looks at topical issues happening in the country. Watch The Issue every Friday at 19:30 hours, only on Zanis TV, Channel 6 DTT and Channel 458 DTH on Topstar. Don't miss.
Minister of Tourism, Rodney Sikumba, says wildlife is an important natural resource that contributes significantly to the country's revenue. Mr. Sikumba says, as such, government is ensuring that there is a balance between human activities and wildlife conservation in areas affected by human-animal conflict. The minister was speaking in Petauke District, Eastern Province, during the handover of an office block for the Department of National Parks and Wildlife, constructed using Community Resource Board funds. More in this report.
An office for the Department of National Parks and Wildlife has been constructed in Petauke District in Eastern Province from proceeds of a game safari operator through the Community Resource Boards.
The Portland Cement Board of Directors had taken a very keen interest in the conservation of Zambia's flora and fauna. For this reason, we decided to donate this office block facility to the Department of National Parks and Wildlife in Petauke. This new office block shall allow for smooth operations, not only in the GMAs, but also in South Luangwa National Park.
Minister of Tourism, Rodney Sikumba, officiated at the event.
This particular structure was built with the support from an outfitter in a secondary hunting block. That particular hunting block, which is mandated, or rather tasked with the responsibility of managing resources within that area. And because you, the community who live here in Petauke, your grandfathers, your great-grandfathers left that area for it to be protected. And we want to ensure that you benefit from your opportunity cost of leaving that area. We want to encourage our people that those animals, which time and again seem to be a bit of a nuisance, is what I like to call our draw card for tourism. If a moment in Victoria Falls ku Livingstone, if a moment wakokera ma tourists, naimwe kuno Petauke, kulusangazi, you need that wildlife so that my tourists wakazibwera, which will invariably build structures such as this, which will invariably enhance CDF, social cash transfer, cash for work, and all other government programs.
And Chief Sandwe of Lusangazi district that hosts the safari is happy with the benefits from the conservation of wildlife.
So for them, even if a report comes in good time, for them to reach us, it becomes a challenge. Now that there's that assurance of a vehicle, that is well and good.
The office oversees wildlife activities in Nyimba, Petauke and Lusangazi district. Henry Himonde for Zanis in Petauke, Eastern Province.
Minister of Small and Medium Enterprise Development Permanent Secretary Subeta Mutelo says government remains committed to supporting institutions promoting small and medium enterprises, SMEs, as well as cooperatives across all sectors through provision of an enabling environment for growth. Speaking during the signing ceremony of a memorandum of understanding between Liquid Intelligent Technologies and CNC 360 Consulting Limited in Lusaka today, Ms. Mutelo said the initiative will enhance SMEs' businesses. The permanent secretary said this in a speech read for her by Director for Business Development and Grants, Kennedy Mumba, and Liquid Zambia Intelligent Technologies Chief Executive Officer Mark Townsend said time has come for SMEs to leverage on digital space to expand their businesses. Earlier, CNC 360 Consulting Limited Acting Chief Executive Officer James Chwala said his organization offers capacity building training to SMEs in a bid to sharpen their business skills.
We as a ministry are delighted to witness this signing ceremony between the two private sector players. This is indeed a significant milestone in your collaborative journey, which is aimed at fostering a strong partnership to drive economic growth and development through digitalization. Ladies and gentlemen, the ministry support initiatives where the private sector plays a role in stimulating innovation, creating jobs, and boosting economic growth. Our presence here demonstrates our commitment to supporting private sector growth, encouraging investment, and promoting sustainable development. The SME policy, for example, identifies the lack of innovation and poor uptake of technological solutions as one of the many challenges affecting our SMEs' development and also the cooperatives. As such, one of the objectives of the policy is to develop a culture of innovation and technological adoption among SMEs and cooperatives.
We have to spend time with our SMEs to show them, to demonstrate how technology can help enhance their business. One of the biggest challenges that we have with technology services is they're seen as a cost. They're always seen as a cost. You just assume I need to pay for internet or I need to pay for cloud. So as a business, it's seen as a cost, when actually, if adopted correctly, it will enhance your business and save you money in the long run.
I'm pleased to inform you that we have since conducted 3 capacity building trainings in 3 provinces, namely Lusaka, Copper Belt. We're in Copper Belt in March this year. We are just coming from Northwestern Province. We were there in June, and we are heading to Livingstone, Southern Province, next month on the 10th to the 13th of September. So in the quest to launch the SMEs Capacity Building Training Program, we sought the engagement of the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprise Development on the premise of the public-private partnership. With this formidable collaboration involving the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises, CNC 360 Consulting, and the 3 chain stores that I've already named, have trained, and I'm pleased to inform the nation, we have trained 1,500 SMEs and cooperatives in the 3 provinces that I mentioned earlier.
Still in business news, First Quantum Minerals, FQM, has announced a $350,000 support as the diamond sponsor for the upcoming Zambia Association of Manufacturers ZAM conference. The conference is expected to take place next week in Kitwe. First Quantum Minerals Limited led Infrastructure Development Jed Goldstein disclosed this at a joint press briefing with ZAM this afternoon in Lusaka. Meanwhile, ZAM President Ashu Saga In a speech read for him by ZAM Policy Committee Chairperson and Board Trustee Chipego Zulu, thanked manufacturers for their continued support in job creation.
This approach is vital for sustainable development in Zambia and reflects our broader commitment to contributing to the country's industrialization and job creation goals. During the conference, First Quantum will highlight our ongoing collaboration with the Zambian Association of Manufacturers and also with the Zambian Bureau of Standards. We will work together to establish new frameworks for increased cooperation. These efforts aim to align local manufacturing standards with the global requirements of Zambia's mining sector, ensuring that Zambia's manufacturers are well equipped to meet these demands. Additionally, at the conference next week, we will announce a 6-week secondment of a Zambian Association of Manufacturers representative to join our Trident and Kansanshi operation.
I wish to shift our focus to the innovative strides and collaborative spirit within our manufacturing sector, which has continued to drive Zambia's economic growth, employment creation, and poverty reduction. This press briefing seeks to provide insights to you, our stakeholders, on the upcoming Manufacturers Month. I'd like to thank you, friends from the media, industry, various stakeholders, for your continued support throughout the year and for being an integral part of driving job creation and industrialization by supporting Zambian manufacturers. Ladies and gentlemen, as a sector, we have faced several challenges hindering our operations. First and foremost, we have been impacted by both global and domestic disruptions, inflationary pressure, currency volatility, all of which have contributed to increasing the cost of doing business. Specific drivers, as we are all aware, have included exchange rate volatility, which has adversely impacted the cost of production and the cost of securing raw materials and inputs that are not locally available, in addition to the impact of the energy challenges that we're currently experiencing.
And finally, on the news, Mafinga Member of Parliament Robert Chabinga has expressed disappointment at the work attitude by some local contractors that have been engaged to work on various developmental projects in Mafinga district of Mchinga province. Mr. Chabinga says government will not hesitate to terminate contracts for local contractors that fail to honor their contractual obligations. Details in this report.
This is a parking center in Chief Mwenewis's chiefdom in Mafinga district being constructed by GTEC contractors under Skrara project. This project was handed over to the contractor in May this year and works here have stalled. Area Member of Parliament Robert Chabinga, who visited the site to check on the works done so far, was not happy with what is on the ground.
Money is there. They have been paid. If they are contractors that are not ready to work with Mafinga, it's better they leave us alone. As I go back to Lusaka, I am on them. It's either we agree to disagree or we don't need it. Because this is a joke of the situation. The road is there. It's not like we are in the up the mountains where the contractors will complain. These projects, the cooperating partners of government are supposed to wind up next year. And here we'll be having rainy season in the next few months.
Elisha Bominyoi is Mafinga District Works Supervisor.
I'm worried at the rate at which he is performing this particular project, because this is supposed to be, in the period of 6 months, supposed to have been receiving this particular project. This is one of the key projects that's supposed to have brought development to this particular area.
Another project that the MP visited was Chief Mwenewis's Palace, whose works are being done by the Zambia Correctional Service. And here, Mr. Chabinga also expressed disappointment with the works done.
The contractor here is Correctional Service, and I expect Correctional Service, being a government institution, to do better. They can do better than this. I'm not happy with what I've found, especially one, the quality of the blocks. Secondly, is the pace. If I tell you this one we approved, this is coming from the 2023 CDF. This is what we reserved. Our agreement with the Royal Highnesses was that 2023 we construct Chief Mwanawesi Chiefdom.
However, the area MP has assured community members that action will be taken on contractors who are doing shoddy works.
Going to allow shoddy works to happen in Mafinga. We are not going to allow contractors with impunity to come and disturb by not paying our people.
Pamela Inamba reporting for Zanis in Mafinga District, Mchinga Province.
As we end the news, let's take a look at the stories that made headline. Tazara poised for revitalization. $100 million Zambia expansion project delivers positive results. Eastern Province projects boast in maize production. Plus, cooperatives urged to capitalize on empowerment programs. On that note, we end the news. On behalf of the entire Zanis production team, I'm Alice Banda, and our sign language interpreter was Emil Damlea. Good night.